Timothy and Titus were bishops during the time of St. Paul, and both of them were disciples of St. Paul. That is to say, St. Paul trained them, he mentored them, and he sent them out. St. Timothy was the bishop of Ephesus, and St. Titus was the bishop of Crete. And that is not the end. The letter of St. Paul to Timothy, we have first letter and second letter to Timothy. That is 2 letters St. Paul wrote to Timothy. And St. Titus, St. Paul wrote 1 letter to him, just only 1 letter. And the reason why St. Paul wrote 2 letters to Timothy was because Timothy was a kind of not courageous, even though he was a bishop, but he was always fearful, sometimes timid, and that is why St. Paul wrote these 2 letters to him. And if you read 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 12, St. Paul says to him, "Let no one despise your youth." And 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7, St. Paul says to him again, "God did not give us a spirit of fear." And if you read 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 8, St. Paul says to him, "Do not be ashamed of the gospel." And if you see this, you will know that the man was fearful. And for St. Titus was practical, he was bold. And that is why if you read Titus chapter 1 verse 5, St. Paul says to him, "Appoint elders in every town." Titus chapter 1 verse 13, St. Paul says to him, "Rebuke them sharply." And if you read Titus 3 verse 8, St. Paul says, "Insist on all these things." That is to show you that St. Titus was always bold, he was always courageous, he was always ready to go. So between these 2 people, St. Timothy and St. Titus, where do you find yourself? Where do you fit? Do you see your life like the life of St. Timothy? Maybe fearful? St. Timothy was a bishop, but he was still afraid, timid. Many of us come to Mass, but we are still afraid. We still don't understand what God is doing in our lives. We still don't understand the meaning of this world. Are we like Timothy or Titus? The good news is that God is always with us. Whether we are timid, whether we are fearful, whether we are discouraged, depressed, God is always with us. As we can see, St. Paul did not leave Timothy alone. He kept writing to him, giving him courage. Timothy, be courageous. God did not give us the spirit of fear. Timothy, be courageous. Do not be ashamed. Do not be ashamed of the gospel. And that is what God is telling everyone here. No matter what you are going through in your life, God is speaking through St. Paul, telling you, do not be ashamed of the gospel. Do not be afraid. He did not give you the spirit of fear. Let us trust him in this Mass today and pray that the Lord will reveal himself more to us so we can be courageous.